Okay, now that was the end of session 2. Now we're on to session 3. So we have a couple of films in this particular case, but this is a quick idea of understanding the criteria. What we want to do is give a film to make sure that people understand that things are connected together, and we want to recognize that value of a system, and we also want to start to get these the people who are working on their tables to understand that they, as potential assessors, are themselves very important as being players on an assessment team. You could be talking to them about the size of an assessment team is and be relating some of your own experiences on an assessment team and the way in which interaction happens on those teams. Okay, and so then going into the understanding the criteria item requirements, this is not talking about all of the criteria requirements. You're not going 1 through 6 in this particular section. This is to say that when you are ready to assess a particular item, what are the steps you go to when you're doing that? And the first of those steps is to make sure that you understand the criteria for that particular item, whichever item it is that you're assessing. This particular step is one that's going to show up again when we talk about process. We're right now talking about process items. In the future, we'll talk about results items. We'll go back to that same approach that says that, again, it's understand what the criteria is asking for. That's the first step. So this is just a quick description of what the criteria, of how to read the criteria. And then we have the teams break out, and this is the place where they're first going to be ending up getting their assignment for their table of a particular process item. These process items will be ones that they would have done for their homework, should have done for their homework. You will want to emphasize that it's important that they actually get this stuff done, that they understand that particular item, both as its criteria and whatever they have in the homework. That this is the item that's going to stay with their table throughout the class. So you may have some people who did not necessarily do their pre-work as well as they could have. Part of what you're kind of hoping for is that this is a prompt for them to use their free time, either during the lunch period or into the evening, to make up remedial work on what they didn't do in their homework, in their pre-work. So every table gets its table assignment for one of those items. So this is them trading over and discussing what is it they think the criteria is asking for in whichever item their table has. And then based upon that, then we start to do another one of these buzz things, which is how do people, what are people's thoughts on the TBEM criteria? And then at that point, we go into another film. And this is United Breaks Guitars. This is a film where it should itself have its own good information, and the next slide gives you more information that you were sharing with the team, with the class on that. Just for your information, if you yourself wanted to look further, there's 2 more films that were made in the same series that kind of extend out this whole approach, and so those are often good to take a look at. You might want to look those up on the web as the instructor, just so that you're aware of those. So about the film, this is the intention of all of this is to say that customer sensitivity, how you are perceived, becomes very important, especially as technology makes it so that information becomes very available to everyone. That the adverse consequences of making mistakes in the world today are a lot worse. That you're not going to hide your mistakes. That everything you do needs to be done with the assumption that it is going to be filmed and put on YouTube. And so again, it's emphasizing that high level of excellence that we expect to our companies, that we expect to ourselves, and that again, the importance of adhering to that excellence mindset comes in.